All right, good morning, everyone. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Let's just have a chat. If you're online, just say good morning. I think the host, if you're not talking, you can please mute your devices so that we'll have a very smooth conversation this morning. Thank you for joining the Access Business webinar, the August edition. My name is Olushola Gift. I'll be your moderator for this session. And it promises to be thank you, Oluwaseun. Yeah, please just drop a good morning so we'll be sure that you're here with us. We have amazing line of speakers with very, very veritable wealth of experience in terms of building and leading schools in Nigeria. And I'm very, very positive that by the end of today's session, you would have, gotten home with something very, 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 very valuable to add to your institution, whether it's a primary school, it's a secondary school, or even if it's a tertiary institution, why not? So we are here to, ensure that we deliver maximum value to you. Thank you, Wangu Agbola. Thank you. I can see the messages are dropping. If you have friends who are supposed to be here, I'm sure you have the link. You could just do them a favor and drop the link with them. It promises to be an exciting moment. It promises to be life-changing. I'm sure if you're going to pay for this, it's going to be quite a fortune, but the bank is bringing it to you as an esteemed customer of Access Bank. We're bringing this to you for free, and we are happy to have you join us. It will be also interesting to know where you're joining from. If you're joining from Lagos, if you're joining from Abuja, if you're joining from Port Harcourt, wherever it is that you're joining from, let's just have a quick chat and say, this is where I'm joining from. Okay, I can see Tabitha from Edo State. I can see Agbola from Lagos. Oluwaseun, you didn't indicate where you're joining from. Okay. Fumi, CEO, iRise Model School. Thank you. We should have more chats. Let's just pop the energy. Okay, Tabitha is joining from Edo State. I just want us to thank you. So Abuja FCT is here. Damaturu is here. Wow, interesting. Vivian Inkiru is here. Remy from Lagos. Please, let's share the link. Let's not be selfish about it. Let's share the link with our colleagues. If you have a school association, you have your other school owners who are on that group, please feel free to drop the chat with them so that we will be able to extend this good news of legacy, of leadership, and of lasting sustainability to everyone in our circle of influence. Thank you for joining. I think we'll just go straight into the presentation. And we are so privileged to have our group head of SME banking products in Access Bank join us this morning to give us a welcome address and, set the tone for today's webinar. I've told you that it's going to be an exciting one. And because we hold education so dear to our hearts, she has made time out of her busy schedule to be here to kickstart the webinar with an opening remarks. Thank you so much for joining, Ma. Good morning, Ma. Over to you, Madam Biodun Olubitan.
Please, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Ma. We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, great. Good morning. Special school owners, proprietors, proprietresses, school administrators, teachers, and all the business people that are on the call this morning. My very huge privilege to be here this morning to welcome you to this special webinar that has just been created just for school owners like you. I know there are people that are here that are not school owners, but they are interested in probably going into the school business, because I got a couple of feedback from people that said, I'm just about to start mine. And I said, that is the webinar for you to attend. So it's very exciting for us to pull us together we did not see a better time, but a time where we know we are actually taking a little bit of break from school. Students are on holiday. At least summer school is making it a bit lighter for us. And then we are able to also look at what we can do to create value for ourselves and our businesses. So that's why this has been put together at this point in time. And of course, when we say schools, school and education sector and in itself is a sector that is very resilient. You know, it's something that doesn't go away. Everybody, even government, is pushing for education. And of course, government can't do it alone. So we applaud you all that are, supporting government to provide education to students and children and words all around the world. So very well done. You're doing a very fantastic job, and we see you. Because at Access Bank, we know that we are not supposed to just generalize this person as a business person. We have pulled you out specially to say, let's have this webinar just dedicated just to you. And again, from all the researches and surveys and feedbacks that we get, especially from school owners, and proprietors and proprietors alike, we get that feedback to say, I'm afraid, how can my school live beyond me? Or, okay, how can I even be sure that my teachers are doing the right thing to make sure this school stands out? All of those things are going to be discussed this morning. And I really want to thank you for joining. We've also received a couple of feedback while we were getting registrations. People have indicated the financing support they will need from us in terms of maybe mortgages to buy a school property or to expand their businesses and all. We see all of those, and of course, we will start engaging you right after this webinar today to see how we can support you even with financing. So if you did not register, that means you have missed an opportunity to indicate the kind of financing that you will need. But even if you did not, even while on the during this webinar, there will be a chat or a link where you can indicate your interest, and we can follow you up to see what kind of financing that you will be needing, and we'll be supporting you with that. So my task is not to take your time, it's just to welcome you and to show how excited we had to have you on the call. And I can tell you that this is not going to be a waste of time. This is actually going to be a value add service to your business, and you'll be glad you joined. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you. Over to you, Toshola.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Please, we need to put our hands together for our group head. Please, let's just appreciate her for making our time to join us this morning and delivering a very fantastic opening address. Thank you, Ma, for your time. And we'll look forward to more sessions where you'll be able to curate for our education sector, and then people can be able to draw as much value as they can. Without wasting much time, I've mentioned that we have seasoned education instructors, education entrepreneurs who are on the call to deliver value to us. But before we go into our first presentation for today, we just want to give you a brief recap of our offerings in the SME desk in Access Bank. So I'll be welcoming one of my colleagues to quickly do justice to that in just a few minutes to reintroduce you. I know we've introduced you several times to our SME offerings in Access Bank, and to do that is none other than an education sector portfolio manager in Access Bank. Her name is Oluwatosin Adeyemi. Tosin, thank you for joining. It's over to you. She'll just quickly give us a recap and introduction into our product offerings for SMEs in Access Bank. Over to you, Tosin.
Thank you so much, Odushola, for that wonderful introduction. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and a very good morning. I'm going to take you through a brief overview of our offerings. But before I go ahead, I would love to say that to build a lasting school requires more than just a vision. There is the need for the right support and the right resources. And this is where Access Bank comes in. And from this session, you'll be learning how these solutions can usher you into the next road that you deserve and into the sustainability that you so long for. So I'm going to be starting with the Access School Advantage. This is a specialized account for you. And the idea behind this product is because, many schools, there has always been complained that how am I going to cater towards the account maintenance fee? They are bothered about how they are going to keep on charging them in regards to this. So in Access School Advantage, what you have is the fixed term charge. So what does this mean? It means that you're just charged 3 times in a year, which is very convenient and affordable for you. And you can access loans. You can also open the account with just 10,000 Naira. As long as you are at school, this is a great product that I believe would be very good for you. Also, I will be going towards loans. You need to finance your product as a school for you to grow. So you have the Emerging Business School Loan, which is, for the working capital facility. For example, your expenditures are there to cater for your operational cash flow. This is a very good product. Again, the timely repayment is also used in this case. So you are not paying monthly. So you are repaying 3 times in a year, which is very convenient. And I would like us to understand that this is based on the eligibility. So because you can get up to 50 million does not mean you will get 50 million. So it depends on your turnover. There are a lot of other requirements that are being assessed before you can get that amount. I'm going to go to our other products. So we have the asset lease. You're a school that you want to get your power generators, you want to get your laboratory tools. Also, the equity level the equity is also very low, so you are not being bothered or stretched in regards to payments. So you can access about 100 million. And we also have the auto loan. I know at schools, you want to get school buses, you want to get staff vans, and you can access 1 billion Naira single obligor limits. That's if you are going for the fleet expansion. We also have the discounted interest rate for female-owned institutions. And also, as schools, I know that we want to transition into solar. We want to go clean and reduce our generator fuel cost. So you can use the switch to solar option, and this is a great goal for you to start. Then the mortgage is also there. You want to get a building for your school, and also I want us to understand that you can get the interest rate. The interest rate for this is 9.75% under the MREIF scheme, which is very cheap for you as a school. And you can get up to 10 years for purchase if you're going for purchase or refinancing. And you can attain about 500 million to build or to get that building that you so desire. I believe that with these offerings, there is nothing stopping you to grow, and there's nothing stopping you to attain that sustainability that you deserve. And I would like to conclude by saying that if you have any questions or any inquiries or you have any feedback, you can reach us at welovesmes@accessbankplc.com. So I'll be handing over to you, Olushola. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tosin. Thank you for your very, very concise presentation. If you're getting value, let me just get a feedback from you. You can just drop a chat and say value so that we'll know that we're together. Thank you so much. We have tailored and specific, sector-specific products, both as account opening and also as loan products for schools. And then we also, just like we're having now, we have capacity building programs where schools can come together, and then be able to learn not just industry-wide information, but information that is specific to the industry where we operate, which is education. So if we're telling you something and it's something not fit for schools, rather, it might be generic, but we also have capacity building programs where we are able to have this kind of conversations to take your schools to the next level. So we are going now to the meat of today's presentation, and I'm so excited to, introduce to us our first speaker, for today's session. Let me remind us that the topic for this presentation or for this August webinar is can anybody just drop the topic? Let me be sure that we're on the same page. I want to get feedback from people to be sure that we are here together. All right, so our theme for August webinar is Building Schools That Last: Leadership, Legacy, and Long-Term Sustainability. I'll take that again. Our theme for this August webinar for schools is simply Building Schools That Last: Leadership, Legacy, and Long-Term Sustainability. And it is my pleasure to introduce to us our first speaker for today's session. Our first speaker is Dr. Samson Yomi Osewa. He's the founder of the Ambassador Schools, and he will be giving us a presentation titled From Vision to Legacy: Lessons from the Founder. Dr. Samson is a seasoned and experienced educationist. He has been in the industry for years. He has practiced, and there is no better person to lead us into this conversation and, take us into a deep dive of what it means to, to own a school and to found a school. Okay, I can see people already know Dr. Osewa is here. Please, let's put our hands together for Dr. Osewa. He's bringing up his slides. I think, Daddy, you can unmute, and then would have you come on board and deliver this session to us. Please, let's put our hands together if our hands are not busy. I know it's not a physical session. Oh, thank you so much, sir. It's good to have you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, his screen is here. Please put your hands together. Okay, Adejoke, your hands. Tayo, please put your hands together. Precious Unwogu, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are excited to have you here, sir. Good morning and welcome, sir. It's over to you. From vision to legacy. Please get your pen, please get your notepad. It promises to be an exciting session. If you have questions, just note them. We'll have time after a session to take these questions one after the other. Just so you don't forget, if you also want to drop the questions on the chat box, you can do it. Our admin would collate those questions, and at the end of the session, it will be able to answer those questions and give clarity to every of our inquiries. Please, let's put our hands together and make welcome Dr. Samson Osewa. Good morning, sir. Over to you. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Chief Olushola. The Lord bless you. Thank you also, Ms. Olubiton. The Lord God Almighty will bless all of us. Thank you for bringing me here today. Thank you for the opportunity. And I just pray that by the special grace of God, I will be able to deliver according to specification in Jesus' name. The title is From Vision to Legacy: The Ambassador School Story, at the Access Business Webinar Series, August 2026. And I want to say thank you to Access Bank. Thank you for what you have done. Thank you for allowing this opportunity to happen. And thank you for your Beyond Banking initiative that you have put in place. I'm honored to be here, not as an expert who has arrived, but as fellow travelers for all our school owners, with all our school owners. What I share today is not an Harvard theory, but lessons from the trenches here in Ota, building the Ambassador School from plastic chairs to institution. I want to say that if one school owner here avoids the pitfall today, then today is worth it. And I pray it will be worth it in Jesus' name. So, moving from here, who are we? Who are we? Who are we is the question I want to ask. We are the Ambassador Schools Ota. At over 25 years, we have over 25 years of building values and over 25 years of preparing an institution. And our core values are academics plus excellence, using excellence and godly character to raise a total child. Our mission is raising leaders grounded in values, excellence, and purpose. And our passion is to raise children who can compete anywhere in the world. Global children who won't compromise their faith. Our Bible portion for our school is 2 Corinthians 5:20, where we derive the name. The Bible says there we are now the ambassadors for Christ. And we are raising children who have the fear of God, who have good characters. So I'm not here generally to impress, but to share a real journey, including our mistakes and our learnings. And the Lord will see us through. So, and what are the burdens? The burdens are threefold vision that we have as ambassadors for Christ. So, we have a threefold front of wanting to raise academic excellence with godly character. Number 2 is to raise leaders, not just learners. And number 3 is to raise institutions that outlives the founder. We want the school that continues, we want the school that continues, that will continue to even outlive the leaders. So we started very small with few pupils. I remember we started then with 19 pupils in the year 1998 on a rented apartment. And what kept us all those times was the vision when there was no money. When money was not there at all, but we had the vision at the beginning. So, ladies and gentlemen, you find out that your why has to be stronger than your what. Your why is your vision, and you have to have a strong vision that will drive the dreams right. If reason is only school fees to start a school, you will close down when fees are delayed. So if calling to build destinies is what you have, then you will endure the time. So the question is, school owners, why did you start your school? That why is very, very important. And with the why, you'll be able to stand above every problem. You'll be able to overcome any problems that you meet on the way. And this is very essential. One thing that we need to look at is how we turn leadership, our leadership turning points, how we use people over building, how we make things to happen in the school, not relying on building alone, but relying on building people. Investment in teacher training is one thing that we do. We invest in teacher training, not just in building. So we use ownership. We want our teachers to own, and we use our management to run this vision. So we separated the founder from manager. The fact that you are the owner of the school does not mean you will be the manager in every sector there. So we build board, we build management team, and this helps us a lot. So we stop growing outward, we grow inward. Over the years, we build the manuals that we use to run the school. We try to look at the fee system, how it works vis-a-vis the Nigerian economy. And then we have human resources policy that suits the people that we are employing. We thereby are able to build a very strong foundation. And let me say this, that owner could not be principal, accountant, driver, cleaner, all at the same time. it will lead to failure. So the Lord will help us through in Jesus' name. Let's not do that. And institution cannot be around one man. We need to understand that institution cannot be around one man. So you have to create board, you have to create management team, and you have to learn to lead through other people. And this we have done all over these years. And the lesson for everyone is, please, let's know that startups need passion, but growth needs systems and humility. Humility it is for you to be able to give leadership to other people. And so what am I going to say is, please, you are going to allow God to speak to you. If you allow God to speak to you, it will be a great thing. Then now let's consider the roots and the wings, talking about the issue of school, balancing values and information. Root and wings exist, and you have to understand them in terms of school. So, and in terms of any business, the roots are whatever can change. I mean, whatever cannot change. So what never changes in school, they are very, very important. So the spice values cannot change, like spirituality, pursuit of integrity. These are things that build the school. Compassion, excellence, the morning devotion that you have, the church service you have in the school, the discipline that you inculcate into the children, they cannot change. But the wings consist of things that must change. Methods must change. We started from chalkboard to smartboard now, from coding and robotics. We have gotten to that level. And one thing you need to do constantly is to filter what changes need to be. So you have to think, does this change make us more like ambassador or less? Anything that makes us like ambassador is what we want to do more and more. Then balancing the roots. Balancing the roots and the wings is also very, very important. Tension that every owner faces are there. The manuals. So every new staff must spend like 2 weeks of induction on subjects. I mean, induction that is not on subject, but on culture. The anthem, what it means, the pledge, the core values. What does it mean? How do you inculcate it to the people? Then you have to filter this. Does this innovation, does it make us more ambassador than before? An example is, generally parents today want modern things like iPad, like coding, but then you don't want to lose your soul. You don't want to also lose the soul of any other child. So you have to decide whether using computer every day is what the children really need, or whether they need to learn. Our approach here in the Ambassador School is that we use roots that are non-negotiable, the core values. They are written on walls, not just on paper. And the wings, which are the methods must change. 20 years ago, today, we have coding. It was chalkboards 20 years ago, but today we use coding, we do entrepreneurship, we do robotics and all the rest. Practical culture is that we don't have clubbing Saturday parties, but we have changed that for Saturday lessons, extracurricular activities. Money may go in this way, but values will continue. So the lesson here for all leaders is that we should hold values tight and we hold methods loose. Methods can change, but the values must never change. And building beyond the founder, therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the question you have to ask ourselves is, if the owners travel 3 months, will school run better or collapse? At the beginning, our question, I don't know what it is, but today we know we can leave the school for 6 months. We have left it for 3 months, 4 months before. So people are the leadership pipeline that we have. Former students now become teachers, and teachers now are leaders. We have teachers who have spent 22 years, 23 years, who has come to the top level in the school. The system, we move from memory to manual. We document everything. That documentation is very important for us. The structure, we have the board, not just family members. We have external audits looking at everything. And in finance, we run separate account for persons than the account of the school. All these things are things that is making everything to move forward. So once again, we talk of people, we build a strong team, share the core values, we support growth and learning, and all this, the people lead with clear purpose. The systems are there. We use repeatable steps. We automate daily tasks. We keep quality high, and we connect tools and data. Things that can be done by equipment are done. You know, taking people's attendance is taken with machines and all the rest for staff and others. The structure in place, you have to define clear roles, set lines of power, build a strong framework, and guide small decisions. So, and financially, we manage our cash flow. We watch the budget closely. We plan for the future with savings and so on. And we have funds raised for daily needs. All these things have been very helpful. So what we did is we stopped hiring teachers. We started building leaders. We made second layers very, very important. We have, apart from principal, you have vice principal, HODs, you know, and it's joy watching former students become teachers, become leaders, to train other people. Systems, like I said, you document everything: admission, fee, discipline, lesson plan. What is not documented is not system. It's just goodwill. And we leave that structure. We have board with wisdom, educationists, pastors, business people who can challenge the owner. Financial discipline, Access Bank principle. If you listen to Access Bank, they give you a lot of good principles. Separate money, school must pay salaries and all the others without the funder's pockets. So lesson here is that school will be only as strong as the people who run it when you are not there. You have to build them up. Growth initiatives. We run a multi-campus system with one culture. The nursery and nursery school, primary school, secondary school, one culture via central training. We all believe in the same thing. We want to produce total child. So we turn regular training to impact center, training teachers even from other schools in our area. Digital and skills are also not compromised. Computer labs are standard, coding and entrepreneurship are their global perspective in our situation. So the question is, we must prepare for future, not our past. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the things we do is to ensure 3 major growth-driven areas are maintained. Multi-campus, from single building in the past to now having buildings for nursery, primary, secondary, which are all well built up. Then we realize we can't complain about half-baked teachers. The universities today, they don't prepare people like before. So we started to train not just our staff, but other schools turning cost to impact. And then digital, very, very important. So COVID-19 forced everybody to begin to use computer, to begin to use online. We also do the same. Each growth was prompted by listening to parents, observing children, and asking, what will make Ambassador more competitive globally? Our lessons is, we don't just grow because others are growing. We grow because of the vision, demand that children do better. So what legacy, therefore, what's legacy that we are leaving behind? Legacy is not building, but because buildings will fade away. Legacy is not name on signboard, no. Legacy is people. When 35-year-old man who passed through this school 20 years ago lives with integrity, loves his wife or husband, raises godly children, and says, I learned this culture from the ambassadors. That is our legacy. That's what we are looking out for. Legacy is lives, not structure. Legacy is people. Buildings you build today, we need renovation very soon. But character you build in child will go to the next generation. Psalm 112 verse 2 says, his seed shall be mighty upon the earth. The generation of the upright shall be blessed. This is what we believe in. That is why we do what we do in Ambassador School. Legacy is lives impacted. And so we think beyond ourselves. So advice for wanting business that will last 20 to 30 years, ladies and gentlemen, I have these few things to say. Number one, build on the rock, not sand. Build on values and Christ. Trends change. Low fee strategies will be beaten by other people. But when you build on Christ, it stands forever. Think institution, not income. Separate family from school finance. Separate family from school finances early. So Access Bank will help you in where you could do this. Invest in people more than profit. Best investment is loyal, trained, and value-driven teachers who stays 10 years or more. Take care of them. Good salary, good training, and good honor. Number 4, document and delegate. Write down how things work. Take courage to let others lead. If you are the only one who can do it, then you have not built school, you have built prison for yourself, because you will not be able to get out of it. And the day you get out of it, the whole thing will collapse. Then, number 5, keep learning and evolving. Attend Access Bank webinars, visit schools. Founder who stop learning, stop leading. 6, commit to God. Psalm 127 verse 1 says, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that built it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman worketh but in vain. So start succession now, not at 70. Who will run your school if you are not there tomorrow? Mentor someone today. And our duty in Ambassador is we always pray for every child, and that is all our secret. So finally on this, I want to say thank you very much, and God bless you in Jesus' name. And I want to make just one prayer for all the school owners. Father, in the name of Jesus, I pray that as all the school owners have listened this morning, they will learn to commit their ways into your hands so that you can lead them aright. And at the end, every school will become far, far better than what I have shared. For in Jesus Christ's name, we have prayed. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Please, let's put our hands together for Dr. Samson. Thank you so much. That is not yet bye-bye. We have plenty of questions for you. So you are still here with us, sir. Okay. Thank you so much. If you got so much value like I did, even working in a financial institution, I could relate with so many of the things that Daddy was saying. And then coming from an elder statesman, there is no other person worthy of that honor to deliver this kind of topic to us on legacy and building an institution that will last beyond even you as an individual. So maybe I'll start with my own question. I noted a question down while you were speaking, but I would also give opportunity to people on the call to ask their questions. So please, I don't know if people have dropped their questions on the chat, or maybe you could just raise your hands if you have questions, then we'll pick it one after the other. Of course, we also have to be mindful of our time because we have another speaker who is coming up immediately after this. So please just raise your hands if you have. Okay, there's a question and answer box. Okay. The Q&A box. Is there any question there yet? Is there any question there yet? Okay, so let me ask my question while we wait for other school owners to join. That you mentioned that we should run with passion and not be fueled by profitability, and that one of the driving force for you when you started was that it was more of passion. So, you know, me, I work in a financial institution. I'm thinking, how will the business survive if you are being fueled on, because you have to pay the bills? So how do we match passion with profitability, and noting that we're also talking about existence, we're talking about you know, sustainability? If a school is not alive to take care of its expenses, you are just saying I have passion. So what's the balance there? That's my question.
What I said was that at the beginning, at the startup, you start with passion. But as you move on, you have to add other things to it that will make it work. And you want to build things, you want to excel, you have to invest. And you have to know that this your investment will bring a return at the end of the day. Those are the things that motivates you. And so when you put in something, for example, on character, you expect it to be a result of changing lives, changing people. Honestly, if I tell you, one of the things I enjoy mostly is anywhere I travel to in this country, anywhere I travel to, is it US, is it Canada, ambassadors are holding top posts or the other, and people are telling them that they are great. Somebody on Instagram yesterday said he met one ambassador school student and he discussed physics with him, and he remembered all he learned in the old days. Honestly, I told you, I want to tell you, yesterday, even if I didn't eat, I was satisfied. So what we are saying is that all the effort you are putting in must yield dividend. You are putting money in, it should yield dividend. You are putting effort in, it must also yield dividend. And so the passion is there, but the intentionality that you want to make something work. For example, let me tell you this. The first time, the first failure we had was we went to a cowbell mathematics competition in the year 2009. And our teacher told us we will come first. And we finished, when we finish, we expect for us to come first in Ogun State. But out of 780 people that did in Ogun State, our best student was number 488. We were flattened. But we came back, we regrouped. The following year, we made number 220. And the third year, we were number 1 in Ogun State. And then we continue on the national from 2001, 2, 3, and by 2006, we not only win, but we won very well. We came first, second, third in junior category, first, second, third in senior category. We won a total prize of about 44 million naira. That's what I mean. Best, and you get something, and then it announces you. Thank you very much.
That's so clear. So it starts with passion, then over time, the profits will come. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Beverly, you said you have a question. You can just drop it on the chat. So, sir, let me just read out one of the questions we have. I think you can hear me loud and clear, sir.
Very well.
All right. So, Extra O Kids, she sent a question. She says, sir, looking back, what do you know now about running a school that you wish you knew when you started? Also, how did you manage staff turnover over the years? Saying you mentioned some have been with you for 24 years.
Yeah. You see, what did I know more now? I think generally when we started, we didn't know much. As a pharmacist myself, no, my wife is a pharmacist, I'm a pharmacist, and God just said, go and run a school. And by the time we started, what we did was to form a committee at the beginning to look for what does parents want in school? What does the teachers want in school? What does the students themselves expect in schools? We put all this together and we begin to run with it from that. I want to tell you, some of them we are still implementing till today. And so it is a matter of planning well from the beginning and then asking God to lead you. And when God leads you, you don't make plenty of mistakes. But that's not to say that you cannot make mistakes. One of the things that has helped teachers' retention is to learn to know what teachers like. Teachers want salary. Teachers like money. Money is the one that drives teachers. So if you don't put money in place, teachers will go. You have to have various things. So like in our school, for example, we put a lot of things in place. Teachers have pension scheme. Teachers have health scheme. Teachers have any child of teacher that is in secondary school, they don't pay tuition. And through that, we have been able to find a situation that even children of teachers are on full scholarship in US today, running from the school. So how would the teacher not stay? You know, that kind of a thing. You have pension for them, you do everything, and we have personal relationship with all our teachers. And then salaries. A lot of people don't pay salary on time. You have to pay salary, pay 13th month, pay bonuses, all these things. If a teacher teaches and they have A1 in a subject, they get money per each A1 they get. All those things make things work very, very well. So you have to look at the welfare. The welfare is what keeps a lot of teachers in place. And with my experience in the industry, when I was still working, I know that motivation, money is a lot of motivation to staff. And you have to put some money in place, and you have to put some best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. The questions are pouring in, Daddy, but maybe we'll just take additional 10 minutes so that we'll be able to take the next speaker. And then, okay, so there's a question. The person says, my name is Eze Jacinta. My question is, how do I get capable hands in forming this structure as a starter?
Okay, to form this something, I want to tell you as a starter, most of the people you get first might not be the best start. I think you have to know that after some time, you have to audit yourself. Constantly, you audit yourself. Anyone that is good, you try to keep. Anyone that is not good, you should also not be stingy of letting them go. So, but you have to put training in place. Training is what helps a lot. If you train a teacher, you will become, it will blossom for you. Train any staff, they will blossom for you. Some of them will go, but at the end of the day, the one that stays are the one that will become the pillar of the school. So training of those staff, when you want to also recruit your staff, you have to do good recruitment exercise. You have to make sure you have standard that you are looking for. And so you have to, from the beginning, put your standard in place and ensure that things work fine. Thank you. That's what I
Thank you so much, sir. So that we have just a few more questions. There's a question from Beverly. She has two questions, so I'll tie the two questions together. She says, I run a virtual school, and I want to know if I should expect a different approach in trying to promote and get students. That's number one. Then she also wants to know if the regulatory educational authorities in Nigeria have systems to support the accreditation of virtual institutions. So our school is not, there is no physical space. She wants to know if the same approach will work, and then if there is a system in place to support the accreditation of virtual schools.
Yeah, if you run virtual school, right now in government, I've not seen any instrument put in place to register virtual schools. What do they expect and everything? But I'm sure you could find out from the Ministry of Education, both in the state where you are and national, to see whether there is something like that there. I've not seen it before. But talking about how to manage staff and how to do everything is the same thing in any place where you are. So in everything you do, you need to honor those people who works for you. You need to train them, you need to respect them, and you need to see them as human beings like yourself. And when we do all this, it makes things work better for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, let's put our hands together for Daddy. That will be all in terms of questions for now. Please, everybody should drop on the chat. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's a lot of sacrifice, to come up. And then, thank you for the prayers. We appreciate. Thank you for taking out your time and for the wealth of experience that you have shared with us without holding back anything. We truly appreciate you, Dr. Samson Osewa. God bless you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. Please, let's drop thank you, sir, for Daddy. Let's drop thank you. Let's drop thank you. Thank you so much, sir. If you still have more questions, you can just drop it on the chat box, and then we'll be able to take them after the next session. If you're getting value, just drop value. If you're getting value and you're sure you are still here, you are not in the kitchen, looking at how to make the rice, please just drop, okay, value. Okay. Kafayat is here. Lucy is here. Oluwaseun is here. Thank you so much. Thank you. People are here. All right. Thank you. I've seen the value. Thank you. Thank you. So without wasting much time, we'll go to our next speaker. And I need to read out, the way the webinar is designed this year, it's a blend, we have Daddy talk to us and we have somebody that we can relate to, she's not Gen Z, but she can relate to our tech needs. She can relate to our emerging needs as new emerging businesses, right? So her name is Bola Nje-Deofor, Mrs. Bola Nje-Deofor. She's the operations director at Bloombridge Schools and a passionate advocate for the transformative power of education in shaping children and society. She has worked with over a decade of experience in corporate places like McKinsey, Deloitte, Owando, Hess Holdings, and she has now stepped into school leadership to honor and scale the legacy established in 1998 by her late mother, Mrs. Olufunke Sumonu. Bloombridge Schools is rapidly expanding. They are serving over 1,000 students across day and boarding campuses. And under operational leadership, the institution balances academic distinction, such as achieving the top in Cambridge IGCSE exams. And then they also have national and global rankings across STEM, language and arts, creative disciplines, and robotics. She's a featured thought leader in K-12 Digest, Elite Education, and so many other publications. She has publicly and regularly shared her insights on African education at global and regional fora. Some of those forums include Google Summit in the UK and Nigeria, as well as EdTech Summit. She has also served on the board of directors for Teach for Nigeria, supporting its commitment to ensuring that every child, regardless of their background, have access to quality education. Across all her endeavors, she has remained dedicated to empowering educators and building resilient people-first institutions designed to thrive across generations. If your hands are not too busy, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mrs. Bola Nje-Deofor to our August session of webinar to educational sector. Thank you so much for joining, Mrs. Bola. It's such an honor and privilege to have you. Please, let's clap for her. Thank you, Comfort. Thank you, Rukaya. Thank you. Welcome, ma. It's over to you.
Thank you. What about this lights? Hey, they'll be seeing all this. Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Yes, thank you for joining.
I'm just moving positions. Sorry. Okay. My video is back on. So good afternoon. My name is Bola Nje-Deofor. I'm super excited to be here to pass this very important message around carrying the vision forward. So I'll quickly get started. We can go to the next slide. So what I'm really going to talk about is, how I found my way into. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So can we move to the next slide, please? So what I really wanted to talk about was how I was prepared for this huge responsibility that I never saw coming. So my background has been in HR for over 10 years. I worked in Owando, I worked in Harris Oil and Gas, I worked in McKinsey, and in all these organizations, all I did was human resources. But what I realized about 5 years ago, stepping into this role, was that human resources truly prepared me for this opportunity. So what human resources does is it really teaches you how to manage people. And in the school environment, you can go to the next slide, you're managing the staff, you're managing students, you're managing parents, you're managing vendors, you're managing so many different people. So I got the corporate grounding from those jobs that I spoke about earlier. And another thing these jobs really taught me was about discipline, right? And it taught you how to work hard and how to really analyze and solve problems. There's a way organizations and corporations work that is really all about your hard work and really looking at the end and finding out how you are going to solve it. So throughout my experience in those organizations, I learned some very key values. Can we go to the next slide? So one of them is really around feedback. So the more feedback you get, the easier it is for you to make changes, right? And in one of my organizations in McKinsey, one thing that really stuck with us was they would always tell you feedback is a gift. And no matter how hurtful this feedback can be, it's important for you to strip away all the other, emotional aspects and really focus on what the actual feedback is. And once you're able to do that, you're able to constructively align the vision of your organization to ensure that you're meeting your goals. And another pivotal lesson that I learned that really helped me in this leadership transition into Bloomberg is really about working hard. There are literally no shortcuts in any job you want to do properly. You have to be proactive, you need to take initiative, and you need to ensure that you do not compromise your character in everything you do. So those were the three pivotal leadership lessons that helped shape my growth and my decision and really helped me in my leadership role at Bloomberg Schools as the operations director. Can we go to the next slide, please? So the next slide, I really want to talk about the foundation, the legacy, and my leadership approach. So the school was founded by my late mom over 27 years ago now, and my mom led with emotions, right? She led the school with her heart and with her soul. She was very empathetic. She really connected with the people. And when I walked into the school, I could feel her presence, even though she was no longer there, right? And my dad, who is the chairman of the board, he was very, process oriented, very straight, knows how to work under pressure, very focused on putting systems in place. And what these two amazing people did for me, they made me understand and they made me realize that I need to lead with purpose. And for me, leading with purpose is really about who you are as a person. Sorry, hold on one second. Apologies, everyone. I'm in a very noisy place, so I'm going to move again to find a space that can work. Hold on. What's in here? It's too noisy. Dirty walls. Oh, gosh. Sincere apologies. I'm on the road and I have to stop. Okay, so what this really taught me was about leading with purpose. And what leading with purpose means to me is leadership is not something that you put on just when you're going to work. It's something that I live and I breathe it 24/7. So it's beyond, my job at Bloomberg Schools. It's really about how do you lead outside of your school environment? How do you lead at home? How do you lead your family? How do you lead your friends? There's so many things that you have to do as a leader, as far as I'm concerned, to with purpose. And that's something I fully imbibe in everything that I do. Can we move to the next slide, please? Can we move to the next slide? Okay, so just talking more about leading with purpose. Next slide. Okay, so when I talk about leading with purpose, there are three things that I with, right? So we need to look at impact. When you lead, it's really about the impact that you're making. It's not about just doing something for the sake of doing it. And you really have to understand the little things that make huge differences. So for instance, when you get into a classroom and the classroom is clean, it's really important. We shouldn't take it for granted, right? When you're grading your students, it's really important because you need to give your students clear feedback. So these are some of the things that people might think are trivial, but they are the crux of what can really make or break an organization. And secondly, you need to look at your standards, right? You must hold the line in everything that you do. There's a lot of ways you can cut corners, a lot of integrity issues in education and in any other place. But it's very important that you pick your character and you stick to your integrity and you ensure that you constantly maintain operational excellence. Even when you're tired and you're fed up, that excellence is super, super important. And then last of all, you need to really understand, what are you here to do? What is your mission? Are you prioritizing the institutional excellence over yourself? And it's only when you can put all these three things together that you can ensure that you are leading properly and with purpose. Can we move to the next slide, please? So another thing that I live by is data. Data is king. You can't do anything without data. So Bloomberg Schools, we are a co-ed, religious school, but it's also important to not lose that foundation. Continue to use other things to move the school and to complement what we already have, right? So in terms of data, everybody in Bloomberg Schools totally understands how we work. If there's no data, you cannot solve the problem, right? So from enrollment strategies, from the way we plan our events, everything is data driven. You look at your past events, you look at the way you work, you look at your surveys. What is all this information telling you about your school? What is it telling you about enrollment? What is it telling you about your students? So at the school at the moment, if you meet any staff from Goodwood Schools, you will understand what I mean by data. They understand it and they live by it as well. Another thing that's super important that has helped me to ensure that we continue to build on the existing values is really the feedback. I connect with the students as much as I can. And it's so interesting because our students are not afraid. They can come to me, they can tell me what's going on, and everybody knows this. So it's not like a secret conversation. The staff know that the students will come and tell me whatever it is that they want to say. And I take their opinions, I write it down and I tell them that, you can go talk to XYZ, or we'll have a conversation with leadership, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what we are not going to do. So we have that open communication with students, because whether we like it or not, the students will tell you what is really going on in the organization. And at the end of the day, they are the clients, right? So you need to do what you can to ensure that you can maintain that culture as a school. So we can move to the next slide. So as the school evolved, we also had to ensure that we stayed ahead, right? So we did a lot of different things. And one of the core values that we have, and what we also want to live by, is that we have to develop the total child. But in order to do that, there are many different things that we had to put in place. We can move to the next slide. So what we had to do was, when you look at the total child, right, it's beyond academics. Yes, everybody still wants their A star and all of that, but it's really important that you expose students to things outside of academics. So I'll just quickly run through a few things that we do to ensure that that happens. So for instance, we do things like TEDx. I'm not sure if you've heard of our TEDx, but we've done that twice now in Port Harcourt. And it's really an opportunity for students to get on the TEDx stage, voice their opinions based on the different topics. TEDx globally will review their content, and if they're satisfied, which they were with our students, all our speeches were published on the TEDx platform. So if you go to TEDx Bloomberg Youth, or if you go to the TEDx platform or Google Bloomberg, you will see our students there really giving presentations, and we've also done different collaborations. We recently did something with HPAIR, where our students can really learn more about international relations and learn more about leadership. We've also extended our work experience to focus on year 10 and year 11 learners. We have a finishing school to make sure that our students are well prepared for the next phase. So in creating a total child, you also have to make sure you don't leave any child behind, right? You have students that have special needs. So what are you doing about it? So in Bluebird schools, we ensure that we cater to that. Special needs, gifted children, put all of that together to ensure that you really cater to each child. And the last thing that we did, which was very important to me, was when you look at extracurricular activities, right? People do that sometimes. I'm really sorry about the background noise. People do that sometimes just to do it. But what we do at Bloomberg Schools is that we critically analyze extracurricular activities like it's a subject. So if you're speaking Mandarin or you're taking Spanish as an extracurricular subject, what is the end goal? The end goal is to get to a certain level of proficiency. So we make all of this very clear to all our vendors so they understand that extracurricular activities are really, really important and also critical to us in developing the total child. Can we move to the next slide, please? So at Bloomberg Schools, we are the first Google reference school in Nigeria. And what that means is that Google globally has recognized us as a school who is using IT to transform education. So we do this in different ways. Every student that comes into Bloomberg Schools must have a Chromebook, which we purchase, right? And we put all the necessary tools in place to ensure that they're also digitally safe online. And then beyond the Chromebooks, we also ensure that our infrastructure changed. So we had to upgrade our network. We had to bring in Wowbie boards to ensure that learning was interactive. So the purpose of digital transformation is to ensure that we're moving fast as well. The world is changing, right? So you can't continue doing the same things. And what tech does is tech gives you the environment to really transform the way we learn, the way we teach. And it also ensures that we can create lifelong learners, which is very, very important. So we can move to the next slide. We can move to the next slide. Okay, so what I really also want to talk about is how do we ensure that we sustain the culture of the school? Like I said, the school has been around for over 27 years. We have people who've been in the school who did their NYSC with the school, who are now principals and heads of departments. So it's very important to us to maintain the culture. So for instance, when we bring in new teachers, we ensure that the induction is very robust so that they understand that from day one what we are about, right? We also pair them with mentors, and the mentors take full ownership of this new staff. Student voice, like I said before, super important. We ensured that we changed a few things. If you look at the way we do our prefectship elections now, it's not really about popularity, it's really about, can you be a student leader, right? And we also ensure that our students have a voice in terms of feedback, telling us what we need to work on, etc. And then last of all, you cannot forget the parents. If you don't manage your parents can make or break your culture as well. So managing our parents, super important. We ensure that there's continuous feedback in our parent forums. Even outside of the parent forums, parents are free to talk to us and they really let us know how they're feeling about different things. But beyond that, we also want to ensure that our parents are connected to us. So we have different webinars that we host that really talk about the things that are affecting students of this generation and also affecting their children as well. So can we move to the next slide? So what I really also want to talk about is, beyond maintaining the culture, I also had to revamp some of our traditional systems, right? And a funny one was actually when I had to introduce KPIs. We can move to the next slide. So like I said, HR is my background. So coming to the school, I realized that we had to do more to ensure that human capital development is something that we really focused on. So, we brought in KPIs, a lot of resistance to change, but I ensured that it was something. Sorry, go to the previous slide where we're talking about KPIs. Previous slide. Can we go to the previous slide? Okay, here, yes. So we brought in KPIs and it was really structured to make sure that your performance is measured, your bonuses are paid, promotions that are also earned, right? There was some resistance, but now we're doing great and it's very clear. Okay, you've skipped the slide, but anyway, we're talking about human capital development. Okay, yes, we're on the right slide now. So on the KPIs, it was really a game changer for us, right? So people understood that they had to work hard and you cannot hide under any umbrella. So working hard was very important, and you were going to be measured and you were going to be your bonus depended on it, right? So did your promotion. So nothing like, oh, this person likes me better and that's why I'm getting promoted. Everything was very clear and very, very transparent, right? And then I also had to make sure that we had processes in place. Anyone who knows me, I need to have a process. If there's no process, it cannot fly. So each department has very structured processes, but it's really not about writing down processes. It's to ensure that you follow the processes as well. So we do that to ensure that people are held accountable. And then lastly, another thing we really talk about is ownership and excellence. No matter what you do, no matter how small it is, you must do it with excellence. Whether you're hanging up a little tiny picture and it's not straight, it is not excellent. So don't think that it has to be a major project before it can be done excellently. We always ensure that we enforce the excellence standard. Everybody knows it, and they know that they will be analyzed. They know that they'll be penalized as well if things are not done properly. Next slide, and this is the last slide. So in order to ensure that I am building an institution alongside my leaders to ensure that Bloom Bridge Schools really last, there are three things that we do. You see, the middle managers they're so critical to any organizations, right? These are the ones that are heading your department, they're heading your pastoral departments, but they're not really your top leadership, right? So they're in the middle. So you need to empower these folks, because that's also how you ensure that there is succession in place. You need to ensure that your people can think, right? People need to be able to think. So we have to we constantly empower our staff to think big all the time, right? And we give them the wings to fly and to come up with so many different initiatives that I can categorically say have really, really helped our school grow. My staff are flying. They think big. They come up with bold ideas and they know how to execute it. And then last of all, you have to train. If you want an institution to last, you cannot skip out on your training. We ensure that there's continuous training. Our HR team ensures that each department has structured training. The training is actually mapped to your KPIs. It is mapped to the feedback that you also get from your KPIs. So these are some of the ways that you empower and you shift, you move to the next level as an organization. Last slide, and apologies again for this noise. Last slide, please. So just to end, I would like to say that as a swap I have really brought to the table is that we tell people, I tell my staff all the time, you must think and dream big. Think about what the best school in the world looks like. How can you execute those ideologies locally? And remember that there's no problem that you cannot solve. Literally, every problem has an expiry date, and it's really, really important that we focus on the end goal at all times. So thank you everyone for joining. And remember, always think big and execute your ideas locally. And remember that every problem has an expiry date. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Bola. Please, let's put our hands together. Let's put our hands together. Thank you so much for that impactful session. I have a lot of questions that I've written down for you, but I also saw the people were dropping their questions. I saw people dropping their questions on the Q&A box. So we'll take those questions, but please let's appreciate Mrs. Bola taking out time. I know it's been a lot of sacrifice from her end to be able to join this session today. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, and then we're grateful for your presentation. So maybe I should start with my question. Okay, let me read Ugonna Achebe, and it says, "Hi, Bola Njideofor. Thank you for your presentation. How do you go about career and college readiness in your school?" She's still on the call. Okay. I think she is.
Yes, I'm still here. I just want to move. Sorry, I'm literally on the road, so I'm just moving to a car.
Okay. While we wait for her, you could just please drop your questions. I'm seeing a lot of people putting their hands together. Please, if you have questions, you could drop it on the Q&A box, and then we'll be able to engage. Not to forget, Dr. Samson Osewa is still on the call. So we'll be able to take all the questions together. The ones that Doctor will attend to, he will be able to give us clarity. And the ones that Mrs. Bola would speak to, she would also be on the call to, attend to those questions. So please drop your questions. We're glad to have your questions. Okay, the questions are dropping in. Please, let's drop the questions. Once you're ready, Mrs. Bola, you could just... Okay, so let's just take the first question.
I'm ready. You said the question was about how do we ensure students
readiness for, so I think it's about career readiness. How do you go about career and college readiness in your school? Maybe to put context to it, a child is moving from GS3 to SS1. So is there a structure in place to align their abilities to where they are moving to in terms of their career path?
Okay, so Cradle, and what this does is it's a psychometric sort of survey that you fill out as a student, and it helps you align in terms of what subject you should take in SS1, what career path you should follow. So it looks at your strengths, it looks at your weaknesses, and it generates a really comprehensive report that we share with the parents, and we also share with this child. And some parents may kick back because, everybody wants their child to do science. But when they see the data, they realize that, maybe my child should lean towards something else. So after we've had those conversations, you've selected your arts or science courses. After that, we have several institutions that come to the school, career fairs, career days, to really guide the students in terms of university selections. And then all the other soft skills things that we did that I mentioned before around leadership, communication is also a way to prepare.
I think she's muted. Okay.
Wait, did you hear me or you didn't hear me at all?
Just the concluding part of your statement, we didn't hear that. You stopped at all the other things you mentioned in place. Okay, maybe we'll come back to Mrs. Bola. I'm aware that there are some questions for Dr. Samson, so we'll take those two questions, then we'll come back to Mrs. Bola. I don't know if Daddy is still on the call, Dr. Samson. Can you confirm you can hear us, sir? Hello, doctor. Oops.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay, we can hear you loud and clear.
Did you hear me, my response on the college piece, or you didn't hear that?
Maybe you could just summarize so that we missed out some parts.
What that does is it lets you know what your child should focus on in terms of maybe science, arts, career options, and it also so we use this in terms of selection of subjects. Then beyond that, I hope everyone can still hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Please go ahead, Mrs. Bola. All right, I think we get the point. I can see Dr. Sampson is back. Thank you so much, sir. We have a couple of questions for you. Well, before we go back to Mrs. Bola, so I'll read out 2 questions so that Daddy can take them together. I'm aware that he has to be on another assignment, so he just made that time again to join us back. Thank you so much for the sacrifice. So somebody said, how were you able to grow the school considering the school is situated at a low-income area? How has the school been able to win competitions consistently? His name is Goke Adeyemi.
Okay, well, it's all about setting out to do what you want to do. Like I said at the beginning, we have to run ourselves, we have to run systems out to look at, hey, how do we get students who want to how do we get students who can cope with what we want? We are not quite all right. How are we not going to limit ourselves to OTA? How can we win students? How can we run something great? And we believe that we need to run a global system. And if you want to run a global system, how do you do it? What do? You have to find a way to equip yourself to run your focus, not to be OTA focused, but to be world focus. So because of that, started to do IGCSE, we try to do SAT, we try to do TOEFL, all those things. And so we have all our students everywhere here. And so what everybody looks for, first of all, we ask ourselves, what do we want to major in? We want to be a mathematics school and a character school and a school that where you will have the fear of God. So if you want to have this, what do you need? Then we look for what we need and we equip ourselves with what we needed. So everybody have to have a focus of where you are going. To have your vision is important, to have your goal set. You do goal setting on what you want to do, how do we get there? Then when you want to get there, how will you maintain yourself when you get there? And I think it was in 2016 that we found out things. You know, our student did JAMB, and during that system, the JAMB collapsed. You know, when they first of all used the first computer JAMB, when they were doing what do you call it now? When they did running the software, and the software collapsed in Abuja, and the best student just got 170 and this and that, and we said, what can we do else? And we said, let's look at SAT, and we did SAT, and that year, 8 of them who did the SAT that we run it for, their parents did not even pay. We have to pay for it, and because it was a shame that the best student in our school will not get to university because of JAMB. So, but they all got admission. They went to Howard University in USA free of charge, and we said, wow, so we can do this now. Then we try to do more. We run it so that we have students in Harvard free of charge, MIT free of charge. We have all those things. And so people will go to where they can get what they will get. That's exactly what happened. You have to run your school in such a way that people will get what they want. You want character. So somebody told me from Canada. He said, what do you do? That I consulted 11 people in Canada about where my children will go to in Nigeria. They all say ambassador. I contacted my friend 6 of them in UK, they all mention ambassador. And the US, 10 of them, I consider them, they all say ambassador. What do you do? I say, well, there must be something they saw. So you two come and see the thing. And when you see, you also pass it to another person. To me, school owners need to know where they are going. They need to know to have a focus. So if you want to have students who are global, what do we put in place to get them? How do we not get them disappointed when they come? All those things, to me, I feel are important.
Thank you so much, sir. I think I have a question for you and Mrs. Bola. Interestingly, or maybe coincidentally, both of you mentioned something like the total child. I think I heard it in your mission, and I also saw it in Mrs. Bola's, and I know that you didn't have a pre-meeting together to agree on that. So I was asking myself that when you have this total child for a global world as your vision or as something as part of the things you pursue in the school, how are you able to manage students who struggle with excellence? You are saying that everybody here in this school should be great, and then there's a child who is a bit not on that pace of the kind of excellence that you have. Maybe we'll start with Mrs. Bola, then I would also want Daddy to answer that question.
Okay, that's a great question. So when we're talking about a total child, each child is very different. So it's not really about every child being great. Is can we bring out the best potential in every child, right? So a child might be an excellent mathematician and may not be good in English, but it's okay. What else can you do with that child that is great in math? So, but when we look at the total child, right? So let's bring out the best in you academically. And we know that every child has different academic abilities. Let's bring out the best in you beyond academics. So are you good in art? Are you good at public speaking? Are you good in sports? Are you good at debating? So that's really what the total child means to us. We don't expect every child to be the same. And to be quite honest, we have a very diverse group of children. We actually have children from the communities that we bring in locally. And these are children who don't have the same foundation that other children had, growing up. And they still come to our school, they thrive, they become prefects, etc. So that's really what building the total child is about, making sure that each child gets to their full potential.
Thank you. So maybe we'll hear from Daddy.
Yeah, just like she said, we bring all these students together. The ones that are brilliant but are not, they don't have money. For example, in our school, we run 20 scholarships for each class, and that's multi-million. And this is where the people who are brilliant and but could not get funds fit into. Then you have we have seen students who got scholarship in the US based on art, based on science, based on football. People who play football here also, they shared. Then there is even one boy who is in Princeton University now, who got everything due to the fact that they went to do something in the village to feed the small children who did not have food in the village. Was part of what they combined as the social responsibility to make all these things happen. Of course, the likes of the Faith Odusi and everything, who also explore mathematics and everything to go. You have the people that are science. We have one of our children who did a Greek, and through agriculture, what he got and everything, she got a scholarship also in the US. So every area. So when we talk of the total child, we mean children that are total body, soul, and spirit. So that have character, not only good in academics, best in character, best in the way of the Lord and everything. Those are what we mean by being a total child. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, I'm getting a nudge that we need to close in a minute, but let's just take this last question and then we'll call it a day. So somebody has asked, is saying that what kind of policy and structure has helped you over the years as school owners? And then maybe we'll just take Mrs. Bola first, then we'll take Daddy last. What policy, what structure would you say has been helpful to you over the years running a school?
Okay, so I think the first policy is actually around your HR. This is something that a lot of schools don't have a dedicated department for. And the reason why you need this is because how else are you going to make sure your staff welfare, your staff training, and your staff are actually learning? How are you going to do that? And HR also looks at student discipline as well. So, when you go to the disciplinary committee for different things, and you need to institute corrective behavior, you need an HR standard, HR policies that can also ensure that that is done. And the HR policies also apply to the parents, right? Because sometimes you might have some unruly parents and you need to be able to, tell them the right thing. So HR is super important. But I also think in terms of just running a school, right, you just need to have very clear and simple processes in place, from your admissions to your procurement, to your facility management, to how you run your events. You literally have to document it, because if you don't document it, then what are you really doing? So the processes are so important, but you also must make sure that people understand why you have the process, and they must follow the process. So just don't write it down on a piece of paper and say, okay, we have 50 policies in our school on anti-bullying, etc., but there's nobody to actually follow it. So I think HR, very, very important. If you don't have an HR strategy in your school, you really need to have one ASAP. And then just make sure that all your processes are simple, easy to follow, and people can be held accountable when they don't follow those processes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. I was about to say you can't expect something different from an HR professional anyways, but that's on a lighter note. Thank you so much. All right, Dr. Sampson, sir.
Yeah, she has said everything. You have to have your people, you have to have the people who are going to do this work first. So you need to build strong teams, have people, have interdisciplinary sections, lead with purpose here and there. Then the systems in place has to be very important. You have to have things that are correct. You have to put things right. You have to keep quality. Begin to automate things very well. It's very, very important. When you begin to automate, you have timetable that is automated, you have everything. And then the structure, putting clear roles for people, you set lines of power, build a strong framework. Let there be in the teaching line, you have the, you have the coordinators, you have the, you have the principals, the vice principal, having all those places, and then you have the year tutors, all those things, monitoring. If it's finance, you have the way that everything is running, you manage your cash flow very well, you watch your budget closely, you plan for the future, you begin to also save here and there. And then you make sure that you share the core values with all the management staff so that everybody, not only where we are going, everybody knows where we are going. And then everybody will support, all those things will support growth and learning and make everybody to lead with clear purpose. So I think that's very important. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. I think it's about time that we'll put hands together for our facilitators. Thank you so much, Dr. Sampson. Thank you so much, Mrs. Bola, for taking out time from your busy schedule to be with us at this August edition of the Access Business webinar. We appreciate your presence, and I'm sure that our listeners would make do of the information, the insights they have gleaned from this session. I also need to mention that there is a feedback form that is on the Q&A box. Please do well to just click on that link and give us feedback. There is also a chat, a WhatsApp group that is there where we can always reach out to you for subsequent webinar editions to be able to share those information with you. We have monthly bulletin that we'll share with business owners. If you're on that group, you're able to have access to those kind of resources to improve on your business, to improve on your school, and then, become better in what you do. So I just want you to, if there is a key takeaway that you've gotten from this session, just drop just one word on the chat box so that I'll be sure that there is something you are taking off from this session. Just one word as a key takeaway from this session. Please do well to click on the feedback link. You can also join our WhatsApp group, and then we'll be able to pass across message to you. Thank you. Ziba says structure, just one word, something you have learned, leading with purpose. All right. And I hope that you're also clicking the feedback link. We would also want to take as much feedback from all of you so that we'll make subsequent sessions better and more valuable to you. Thank you so much for your time. Sincere appreciation to our facilitators, Dr. Samson Osewa. Sincere appreciation to Mrs. Bola Njideofor. Thank you so much for your invaluable contributions. We appreciate you. And that will be where we are anchoring today. Thank you for joining August edition of Access Business webinar. We started with a welcome address from our group head. We would also be ending with a closing remark from our unit head, Oyebode Omotoye. Mr. Bode, if you're on the call, you can unmute.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible, please? Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear, sir.
Okay, good afternoon. Yeah, on behalf of the Access Bank team, I'd like to appreciate Dr. Samson Osewa and Mrs. Bola Njideofor, our speakers for today. You will all agree with me that they've shared great insight from their wealth of knowledge and experience for all participants. And I'd like to appreciate all participants too, from the school proprietors, the school owners, aspiring school owners, head teachers, and everyone who has joined this seminar, including my colleagues. Webinar, including my colleagues. You would agree with me that we've learned a lot that can help us both in our school journey and even in our personal lives. We'd like to thank everyone. And like Shola said, we'd like to encourage you to fill the feedback form and also join our WhatsApp community so you can get further insights that can help you in your business. Thank you so much and have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for dropping the chat. Thank you, Korede. Thank you, Clement. It's a goodbye from here. Thank you. And we hope to see you in our subsequent events. Thank you. See you at the top.